Where do I begin? I don't even know what to do. That's how I felt whenever the churn rate at DealMachine wasn't doing what I wanted it to. So the churn in a software company is a really important metric. It represents how many people are quitting every month as a percentage of like the total user base. So what happened was we actually hired Elise, and she's our customer success manager, and her job is to be proactive in monitoring these DealMachine accounts and actually making sure she's reaching out proactively if they're getting stuck, and she's kind of like giving them a nudge to complete the right next step that will make them successful. So I will say, when I first started DealMachine, it was just me and my partner Dave, and we were round robining the support requests. So Elise's job is not to answer questions, that's reactive, and we've got a whole team for that. But Elise's job is to be proactive and make sure people are successful before they even would think about quitting. And they'll quit for a number of different reasons. The big one that we have control over is, did the software work right? And did they fully understand it? And did they get stuck, on a screen and like not finish signing up? So when Elise joined our team, the churn actually went down 36%, and we hired her in December 2018. So that's huge. And it's so important for growth that you basically have like this bucket of water, and there's like new water coming in, that's new customers, and then there's always like a little hole at the bottom, and that's your churn, that's people leaking out. So Elise really closed up that hole, allowed us to fill up the bucket a lot faster. We had this weird thing though, where we didn't know what was going on. We're like, why is the churn creeping back up? And then it turned out we hadn't looked at our onboarding emails in a long time. So first of all, they weren't sending out because of a technology glitch. So we fixed that, started to go back down, and then we looked at our onboarding emails and we're like, dang, we haven't looked at those in like a year. And so we're redoing the onboarding for DealMachine now. I'm learning to be a better manager, like better communication. And so yesterday we sat down together and we looked at all these companies that have really great onboarding, and then we built a structure. So before we actually wrote emails, we sat down together and decided on a structure. I was like, Elise, if somebody else was doing this at DealMachine, I want you to communicate exactly how to write onboarding from scratch. So here's what we came up with. So we use Tranial to document all of our business processes, and each like department head has their own Tranial. And so they document important things related to their department and their job. So not only is it helpful if somebody else stepped into that job, they could do it, but it's also really helpful as a human being, because you forget all these steps that might be involved with doing a process, and it's right here in Tranial, so you can like copy paste the steps and just run through it real quickly. So it's been really helpful for us in a couple of ways. Onboarding emails. So let me open this up and expand this. So we basically came up with, this is the process for writing onboarding emails at DealMachine. So first you want to research, and I'll save you reading this, but basically like 80% of the work is done before you even write an email, before you even sit down to write. And that work is actually getting in your customers' heads so that you know what their pain points are, and you know exactly what's going through their mind at each stage so that you can speak to that. Think about somebody who's like trying to get you to sell suits or life insurance. Any opportunity in life where somebody will like keep following up on you. It can be very annoying if they're just saying like, hey, do you want to buy this? Hey, I didn't hear from you. Hey, do you want to buy this now? Hey, I am going to keep following up forever until you reach out to me. But if they were like, man, I know that a lot of obligations come in the way with having a full-time job and a family, and I always forget stuff because I've just got a million things on my mind. If that's what's actually going on in your mind, you actually read that email and you're like blown away. Typically, you're like, I like respect you because you knew exactly, and I feel understood. And then like you may do that thing that they were asking you to do. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with onboarding, is to kind of get in their minds and talk about what's going on. The second step is to actually define what customer success looks like for each of those personas. And so our onboarding previously was a bunch of like random things that were good, but it didn't actually have like an exact structure. So first of all, it was like me welcoming them, and then it was like, go check out our YouTube channel, go check out our Facebook community group. Oh, and by the way, there's this feature in the app you might find helpful. But what we're doing now is we're actually breaking out an exact set of steps that they should do in their app. And we're not going to send them another email to do another step until they've completed the first step. And so this is brand new for us. We're trying it out. But I think in a world where they're getting so much advice from different gurus that oftentimes the advice is conflicting, that this onboarding is going to be so laser focused and focus on the right action that I think that it's going to really help people be successful. So what we've done here is like download the mobile app, add a few properties, reach out via mail, cold call, or exporting. And if they don't like do this, we're not going to tell them about route tracking, because they don't really have the ability to take any action or get benefit from the route tracking until they've actually, discovered how to reach out and send a single postcard. And then again, for the route tracking, we're not going to tell them to add 200 properties until they actually have actually tried this out and actually gone and added a few properties, because 200 might be overwhelming. They can't add 200 until they've added one. So this is kind of a breakdown of our onboarding and how it's going to be very action based. And as you can see, like they're not going to get the emails on how to add properties until they've downloaded the mobile app. If they haven't downloaded the mobile app, we're going to send them like 5 to 7 emails, one every day, that's asking them to download the mobile app. And some of those are kind of fun because we're trying to guess like what's in their head, what's going on, why they haven't downloaded that mobile app, and they're written in such a way to try to figure that out and get them to download it. So that's what we're going with. And then once we've done the research, broken down the steps, we're actually going to write the emails to drive those steps. And that's what we're doing right now. We can talk about this a little bit later, but we're gonna set up like an actual system so that whoever's doing this job at DealMachine is like continuously improving the onboarding emails. And I'm not sure what that looks like yet, but the important thing is like we've got a process. If somebody's gonna write onboarding, this is how they're gonna do it. And then it's always gonna get better because we've got this process in here for them to keep reevaluating, measuring the success, make sure people are doing the right things and being successful.